Ryse was very much a display piece for Microsoft whilst building hype for the Xbox One. The graphics are stunning and the in-game action has a truly blockbuster feel. With ships exploding from catapult bombardment next to you and the innumerable opposing force in front of you, you can't help feel a sense of awe. Its movie-like plot direction and plethora of in-game cutscenes definitely make the whole experience feel like a roller coaster, which is great if you like roller coasters. You play as Marius Titus, a Roman legionnaire on a quest for vengeance after invading barbarians murder your family. I fully enjoyed my climb through the ranks, slicing and dicing the barbarian hordes until it reached its narrative twist and the ultimate conclusion. The sound effects and voice acting were top-notch and the character moved with a natural fluidity which is just not seen in the last generation. However, it is far from perfect. As a story-driven simulation, Ryse is great, but as a game it lacks somewhat. You'll spend the majority of the game button bashing as you move from one barbarian to the next, defending, then slicing, then finally finishing. The finishing moves are plentiful and satisfying, but they do feel like interactive cutscenes, where you have to press the button just at the right time in order to get the full point bonus. After a while, you do get a little sick of them. When I first envisioned this game, I had thought it might be Halo with a sword and shield, and that each level would be a series of linked battle zones. Each can be circumnavigated in various ways as you hack your way to the goal. Sadly, it was more like Final Fight, as you were taken on a very linear path, mashing buttons and beating up the same 5 character models over and over again. Don't get me wrong, it is fun, but by the halfway point of your 8-hour single-player campaign, you might have dispatched the same fat guy with a shield about 100 times. To break up the constant swordplay, there is a range of minigames. One involves moving forward as a unit and covering yourself up with shields when flaming arrows come overhead, which looks cool for viewers but requires the motor skills of a 5-year-old. There's also some pseudo-tactical games where you choose to take one path over the other. However, both seem to involve firing arrows into a barrel for a certain time frame. Whilst these do provide some change to the normal gameplay and add to the overall epic feel of the game, in order for them to provide any real challenge, the game needs to be on the hard setting. Finally, there is a series of boss fights which pit you against foes such as Boudica and Skeletal Minotaur, but ultimately they just have a set number of easily predictable attacks which rely on timing to overcome. Sure, they take a few goes to beat, but they lack any real intelligence to put up any good fight. The multiplayer is just silly fun. You and a friend can co-op in a Roman Colosseum, doing objectives and killing people. It adds nothing new to the multiplayer genre and is very similar to Horde but with a few missions thrown in for good measure. Whilst I only played it for a few hours, I found it fun and entertaining and it extended the game beyond the single player campaign. Overall, this is an audio-visual masterpiece and will take the player on an adventure from Rome to Scotland and back, traversing beautiful and varied landscapes, fighting off legions of barbarians as you go. The 8-hour roller coaster that is the single player campaign is just the right length for any gaming veteran. I think anything more would just become tedious. However, I would recommend starting it on a harder difficulty as it will present more of a challenge and you are unlikely to want to play through it again. The multiplayer will kill an hour every now and then, and with the additional skins and maps that are available, it's sure to keep you entertained.